Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the mini RPG of the week, season 3 finale. I'm back. I'm joined by Boney. Boney, wonderful stream yesterday, along with Dylan. I really enjoyed watching it from far away from my home. It was an exciting day 1. We could have fielded 32 qualifiers down to just 16, and what a stacked top 16 we have ended up with here.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday already gave us a good idea of who could be coming in. I mean, most of the top placed seeds were able to make their way in, but we unfortunately did have a couple of players just barely falling outside of the gap. I think Beta Toast and Uso are two of those that, you know, we may have expected to come in into this top 16, especially based on seeding, but you know, just didn't quite make it. But outside of that, you know, we still have a great lineup of players in this top 16. I mean, Artis, Yannick, Liker, Skandir, Goliath, Marius, Wallagen. I mean, stop me whenever you don't know any of these names, because I think at this point these are, you know, the tried and trues, if you will. But outside of that, I mean, I'm curious to see players like Sir Italian coming in, Squadair as well. You know, there's definitely some names that could cause some eyebrows being raised, and at the same time, perhaps, you know, keep your eye open for you know, next season. But for now, today, who's gonna win it? I mean, that's the question.
I want to know. The question. And we've had a look ourselves at the bracket. Obviously, we are going to be just playing a single elimination bracket. There it is, nearly on your screen. There it is on screen now. And we kind of were having a look at it here. And I think our conclusion, Boney, is that there's no easy side of this bracket. All 4 of these matches are stacked, and they are going to lead into equally stacked semifinals.
No, definitely. I mean, in every one of these, there are names that, while we can only allow two to move on, you know, I'd say like 3, if not 4 of these names could all of them easily make a spot. I mean, just, you know, looking at the top, Artis, Wallages, Squadair, Alugi, maybe Alugi and Squadair, you know, not gonna feel too good about playing against these 2 players, but they've shown yesterday that they are more than capable of taking it head to head up against them. So I'm not expecting that they will be too trouble, but at the same time, you know, they are wondering and worried about, it's the Fested Order, but Artis and Wallagen could also be like, but I mean, I've kind of seen them play pretty well. How am I going to deal with this? And I mean, for every one of these matches, I think it's going to be pretty much the same, where yesterday maybe they could have taken it easy. Today, no such thing. It's single elimination. You drop the ball in one match, you're out.
Yeah, and we are going to be jumping in. All of these quarterfinals are being played at the same time, and obviously we can only watch one of them, unless the one that we're watching happens to end very quickly, which it kind of can't, because we're playing rounds mode for this quarterfinal. We'll be going on all 5 maps, 5 rounds on each one. The points will be 10 points for first place, 6 for second, 4 for third, and 3 points for fourth. Whoever has the most points at the end of all 25 rounds across the 5 maps will be the ultimate winner of that match, and obviously the top 2 move forward to the semi-final. We're going to be jumping into match 4 of these quarterfinals. Liker, Skandir, Mokura, and Heave. And looking at it, yeah, this is kind of one of those ones where 3, arguably 4 players have a decent shot of sniping away those top 2 spots.
Yeah, it's in that sense, I think the only one that may be a bit worried could be Mokura, but even then, it's still going to be all to play for. Skandir and Heave, I think, you know, maybe 2 of those names that many people will know, but Liker has done phenomenally yesterday. I mean, pretty much setting top 4 in all of the maps, minus his mulligan, I believe. But just that alone really goes to show how prepared he is to, you know, set the stage, perhaps make his, you know, this being his time to shine, because he has what it takes to do it, what to do to make it happen, and, you know, may already cause a early upset in a tournament. Yeah,
I think specifically for Liker, and equally kind of for Skandir, Gymnasium is going to be the map to kind of keep your eye on in terms of the scores forward. And we are going to be kicking things off here. Liker came 15th on this map, but Skandir came 18th as well. And those are 2 players who, again, performed very well, yes, so you'd expect nothing less from Skandir. And if either of them can put up a big performance to start things off here on Gymnasium, they're going to be looking very good to go all the way through this match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Skandir and Liker both actually having a great start here, while Heave, unfortunately, is going to have to go for the respawn. It's not going to be a good setup for him in this first opening of the match. So Liker and Skandir for now looking to get the 10 and 6. I'm not sure where Makura is in the grand scheme of things, as the gaps are quite big between all of the players. I just saw Makura pop into the splits right there. Looking at he is in third, and the distance between these players, I think this is already positions done and dusted.
Yeah, this is looking like it's over. Skandir starts off well with a win on this one. And Liker will come second. So there you go. The two players who we were looking to maybe put up a big performance here to set themselves up for the rest of this match and the rest of this quarterfinal, really. They're starting off pretty strong here.
Yes. It's in that sense, maybe what to expect in the case of Heave. Unfortunate early mistake caused him to, fall out of... really getting into the competition, but a bit of an awkward start, I guess, for all the players. Just big gaps, and curious to see if we'll get a couple of closer rounds now, as we see Heave actually taking the opening jump right there on the quarter pipe jump and taking an early lead there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have mentioned, Skandir obviously had a bit of a rough time on this map yesterday, coming in with an 18th place finish on it. Liker will clip a wheel over the engine off. That's going to be very slow. Skandir does also have the world record on this map, right? Like, I mean, when you're talking about mini RPG, there's not really such a thing as a map that Skandir is bad at. Makura with a full crash.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, I do believe, remembering this during while this map was being played, that Skandir was the one who took it. I mean, I clearly remember you casting this one with Turbo, in fact.
Yeah.
And Skandir was just doing a phenomenal job on this track, just dominating. But that is, a different situation because it's very much more about discovery and learning a map fast. And this is, just a totally different situation because it's been out for a while, because these players have had a week to practice. All of a sudden has, his aptitude to learn a map quickly is diminished by the fact that players can just practice and, try to attain the same level that Skandir was able to show off during the opening scenes of the map, I will call it that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what's so impressive, because I am just looking at these scores, I'm looking at the times that are on the online leaderboards. Skandir is 4/10 clear of anyone else on this map. Like, that's absurd. Given the time the players have put into practice these now, it's not a case of nobody's really touched the map. There's a lot of other records from the last few days as players prepared for this weekend. Skandir has a 46.1 on this map, and that's, as I say, 4/10 faster than literally anyone else has ever gone on this, which is truly absurd.
This really goes to show, especially when practicing and setting up. It's not expected for players to necessarily match their PB right over and over and over, because you're just playing the map a lot, you're going through it a lot, you're finding the ways to really approach each and every turn, and it's really more of a idea of the average somebody could hit because of how low their PB might be. And I mean, with a 0.4 difference between every other player, should spell a good time for Skandir, as at the moment most of the players actually failing on the quarter pipe jump, and Skandir just in a league of his own, 2 seconds away from second place Liker, Heave, and Makura left to look from behind, as Makura also with a bit of an awkward transition there, is stuck in 4th place for this one.
Yeah, that early quarter pipe, it caused a lot of problems during even the live rounds on this. That was a 46.5 by Skandir, by the way. I think, Skandir's time would have been a world record if Skandir did not already hold the world record there. So nobody else, again, in the world has driven a time as fast as Skandir just drive. At least not online, at least not published to the leaderboards anywhere.
Yeah.
Truly, truly impressive stuff, and completely unnecessary, because we see that quarter pipe still causing problems even after the players have had a couple of weeks to learn the maps, even after they have spent some time on it. It definitely is still the part of the map where things are most likely to go wrong for people.
Yeah, I do like the approach as well with the bounce. I mean, usually when it comes to quarter pipe jumps, you want to land as soon as possible to make sure you don't spend as much time in the air, but that ceiling in this case really proving to be the faster approach. Unfortunately, Heave having to respawn is going to be stuck in 4th place, but Makura now starting to fly forwards, getting a lot of speed out of that engine off block, challenging Skandir's 1st place, but Skandir is holding strong, and I think he's going to be able to get away with another with a back-to-back 1st place here.
Yeah, we'll be once again across the line for Skandir. A bit slower this time around.
Yeah,
it did look like It did look like Mokura was catching in the middle of the track there, but unfortunately just too many turns, too many small jumps means the Mokura can't use that speed advantage to catch Skandir. And there you go. We questioned if Skandir would be able to leave Gymnasium looking strong. The answer is yes. Well clear in first place. 42 out of a possible 50 points for Skandir. I believe that means it was 3 firsts and 2 second places for Skandir on that map.
Yeah, it did appear that way. I mean, it's really just the first couple of rounds where he was looking a bit more fragile, a bit more fallible, but after that, he basically turned on the jets and decided to drive the way he used to driving. I mean, kind of driving world record pseudo, if it, as you say, wasn't for the fact he already had it. Just goes to show, how much more focus I suppose he has today. Where yesterday perhaps a bit more questioning about, well, is he there? Is he feeling all right? Is he got what it takes to take the win? Be that one of those favorites? And I think Gymnasium right there will have taken away quite a lot of these concerns for any Skandir fans.
Absolutely. We do move on into Throne by Vortex. Going to be another enjoyable map. An interesting map in that it's one where Skandir doesn't hold the world record. Now, he is less than a 10th away from it, but, I mean, technically doesn't have that world record. And also the world record holder, I don't believe, is playing in our competition at the moment, so... it's fine.
Basically.
Very different line at the start there from Skandir. Interestingly, sticking to the platform, not getting off the ground at all. It's not really worked out just here. He's sitting back in third place at the moment, but Mokura, with a little bit of an awkward landing off that wall, is going to be dropping further behind. And Skandir now moves into first place as Liker touches the wall.
Yeah, great fight between Skandir and Heave occurring at the moment, as both of them just a 1/10 of a second between the two, but Skandir is starting to make headway to get away of Heave. Heave getting a bit more of an inside jump will make that transition up onto the next block just fine. And right now, there's not a lot really in the way of Skandir and another first place victory. He just needs to stick the landing, get the turn around, and jump into the risky fin. Doesn't have to really risk it to get all the way to the right side. Will do just fine. Another 10 points going to Skandir, very much securing his first place in the match with that. 52 points going to him, as Liker and Mokura starting to fall behind even more with another 3rd and 4th place.
Skandir just repeatedly picking up these first places, though, does have the effect of keeping the scores very close behind, you know? I mean, second place versus third place is just a difference of 2 points. So even though Heave is kind of consistently picking up those second places now, is starting to pull away, is only 9 points clear, and each round is only an extra couple, and, all it takes really then is one first place from Liker, one first place from Mokura, if they can manage to pick that up, and all of a sudden they are right back in it.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, the only thing that's really stopping them from getting into first place is, Skandir is just driving his heart out. He's doing a phenomenal job, and at the same time, though, every other player is making a mistake here and there, just causing themselves to fall even further behind. I mean, Skandir, 10 points guaranteed with Liker, 2.5 seconds behind. Mokura and Heave also struggling to make their way across the track. Perhaps Mokura able to get 2 more points for their troubles if they're able to overtake Riker, but Liker not letting go of that. Will take 6 points for their troubles. So while Skandir was driving a 56.0, which is a great time, good for top 10. Liker, Mokura, and Heave closing things out. And as you say, at the same time, Liker will be happy to see Heave end up as low as he did. With just a 6-point difference between the two players, top 2 will advance. So good eating for Liker there.
Absolutely. It is going to be very close. Different line there for Heave, going for the line that Skandir has been taking, and Heave is so quick at the start of the map now. Has also transitioned to taking that engine off block as Skandir drops into last place. Full 10 points, absolutely up for grabs here. And Heave, having dropped a little bit of that gap back to Liker in the last round, could re-extend it, could really just make a big edge on the competition here.
Yeah, I mean, Heave, because of that great start, has been able to hold on to that lead for quite a bit. Liker is going to have to somehow hope for a mistake on their end to get 10 points and try to make this deficit not grow too much, but Heave just doing a phenomenal job. Look at that, a second ahead going into the quarter pipe. There's not a lot else that can go wrong for Heave. He doesn't have to worry too much. Jump a little bit more to the left than you're used to. Makes that with a 55.9. As Liker barely made it across there, because Skandir was hot on his heels, and Makura, plenty of time to get the finish line. We'll be getting another 4th place. This is not going well for Makura as the deficit grows even more. But Heave, making sure he stays in 2nd place, right? That 10-pointer right there. Gonna help out a ton. Look at that, a 10-point difference between the 2 players. That is more than just a round, right? We'll be getting points all the time. So, Liker is gonna just have to make sure he keeps playing the game he's used to.
Yeah, and Heave once again going for that start strat, and once again looking quick. You can see keeping their wheels on the ground has worked out for both Heave and Scandir. Now, Heave is going for that strategy. I think it was just Goliath we saw yesterday taking the engine off and going for that one. You can see it seems to be maybe a little bit more consistent, maybe a little bit slower though, as Heave has dropped back behind Scandir as a result.
Yeah, an engine off in that sense, it takes away some of that risk with driving over the small quarter pipe. You don't, usually if you go for that, you set up a drift, you slow down a bit, and then make sure you don't hit the engine off. But if you do accidentally hit it, well, you just wasted all that effort to get slowed down anyway. So the idea of just taking the engine off, regardless of that, and not having to drift of any of the sort, may be the consistent play to do. And it's been paying off quite a bit, unless someone else just gets the first section, that first line that we have been seeing Scandir do, and now as well with Heave. I don't know, there's a lot of variance happening in that sense. Yeah. I'm still wondering, like, what is faster, what is smarter? But it's part of the strategy, I suppose.
Was a full crash for Liker, going to be a long way behind on this one. Scandir this time around was the only player to go for that right-hand side at the start. Heave going for the jump instead is now settled into 2nd place behind Scandir, but with Liker having dropped back to 4th, this is still looking like Heave potentially extending the gap in 2nd place, and is going to be very happy about how these first 2 maps have worked out. Had a pretty rough performance yesterday on Throne. It was 24th for Heave on this map. No issues on it today though.
No, he's looking a lot better this time around. I do think with the things we've seen happen yesterday, some of these players have been workshopping the lines a bit more just to see if there's any more to be gained. And I think Heave's line at the start is, it looks great. He didn't go for it this time around, but when it works out really well. For now, 2nd place is all he's going to be able to go for. Scandir drives another sub 56. And Liker is going to have to settle for 3 points, which is not going to help out a lot in the long term of things, as Heave just getting away further and further.
Yeah, I will point out as well that as we leave Throne behind, Heave did PB, at least publicly, during that match. Previous PB was a 56.3 from 2 months ago. And managing to get the 55.9, breaking the 56-second mark in that one. So a very strong performance by Heave, who I think definitely looks like has put some time into the map over the last 24 hours or so, potentially.
Yeah, it's very much paying off. I mean, it's really that, I guess, the line, right? It's very much the line. And I think that, it could definitely be the make or break when it comes to winning a spot in the semifinals. But that's a tale for, something in a couple of more maps. We are on map number 3 right now. We'll be getting things a little bit frosty, a little bit freezing, if you will, made by Black Pulse. As I'm very curious to see if the big issue that players were running into, specifically the corkscrew jump, is going to be causing some more issues, some more shenanigans for our players here. More often than not, players just, barely not making the jump or hitting the checkpoint. Many things that cause them to reset and just lose their spot during that first half yesterday. Right now in rounds, I think it's going to be perhaps the thing that Liker and Makura will be looking for to nail, to get back into the race.
Well, it's not going to work for Makura. It didn't work out for Heave either. And Liker does kind of need a big performance on this map, right? Is starting to fall a little bit away from Heave. We're going to hit the halfway point of the match during this map as well. And if Liker can start putting some rounds on Heave, if Heave starts to struggle a little bit here on freezing, we could be in for a very tense finish to this map. Probably not for first place. Scandir still kind of running away with it up there. But Liker definitely looking to catch up with Heave and not out of this at all.
No, and then definitely in having this type of equalizer of sorts, if you will, allowing Liker to get back into it. He just needs to make sure his corkscrews are on point. Doesn't quite nail the balance beam, but plenty of space between him and the other two players in the back. Because Makura also actually misses it, but then it is Eve who is too far behind to really take advantage of that. He did manage to hit it, so now changes happening in placements from post corkscrew, if you will. But yeah, that corkscrew, I mean, I've driven it many times, and most of the map is very doable, but the corkscrew just seems to be quite precise, and a lot of players fall victim to it.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous there for Skandir, almost nailing the end too well. Skandir will crash. That's going to be a full respawn. No, it's not. It's choosing to just recover the car and turn around. But now, all of a sudden, this battle for first place is so important. That's a 4-point swing, basically an 8-point swing between Liker and Heave in terms of who comes first or second. Liker really wants to pick this one up.
Yeah, look at that, just pushing every single one of these turns. I mean, right here onto the beams. Want to make sure you don't clip onto the sides. Both players doing a phenomenal job. Wheel and wheel side by side, slowing down just a tiny bit to not hit the ceiling right there. This is going to come down to the line to determine who is going to take it. I mean, even Liker lands a bit earlier. We'll be able to hit the final section first. Needs to make sure he hits this finish, and he does.
Oh, it's fine. I thought that they just full crashed there. I didn't realize that they'd hit the finish. I thought that was disaster. No, it's fine, Boney. It's fine.
We're good.
Blackball thought about it. Put a finish on the bar as well. That's big, as we say. That's kind of an 8-point swing. You know, if Heave does manage to beat Liker out in that round, the gap is 4 points bigger. Instead, it has shrunk back down to 9. So a massive performance when the opportunity was there from Liker. When Skandir made a mistake on that corkscrew, as you pointed out, it is very difficult to get consistently. Liker there to capitalize.
Yeah, it's very curious to see how these players will do this time. Everybody making their way up the platform, so the big equalizer will only be taking part into this, but it is Eve who currently has the lead over Skandir, so Liker will not be too happy about this. Will prefer Skandir to actually overtake in the situation he is in right now, so very much all up to Eve to keep this lead going. Skandir does overtake there as they enter onto the beam. And it's going to take the final section once again to determine who's going to take the 10 points for this round.
Yeah, and Liker trailing a little behind. Heave is slow. Heave is crashed. Liker will overtake, and surely that's another 3 points going back the way of Liker, closing the gap that little bit further. Skandir will make it into the line. Second place for Liker, and Heave is going to have to settle for fourth, and that gap between the two players back down to 6.
Yeah, it's getting a bit scary for Heave now. I mean, where he was doing fine work on a previous map. Right now, freezing is very much putting him, dead to right, stopping in his tracks. While Skandir, halfway through the match right now, 109 points. I don't think he's going to be worried in any way, shape, or form about moving on to the next round. He has built up plenty of space between him and his fellow competitors. Liker and Heave has been very much the match we're looking for right now. Makura just unable to really get his foot in the door to make a throw up for second place. And right there as well, being the last up to the platform, I think we are left with another battle between Heave and Liker as Skandir is lurking from behind.
Yeah, worst case scenario for Liker is losing to Skandir, but not managing for Skandir to catch up with Heave. That'd be a big drop for Liker, who's done such good work closing the gap down to 6 points here on freezing. But as it stands, Heave definitely looking to re-increase that gap to feel a little bit safer as we head into our final maps. It'll come down to the line on this one. Everything is cleanly through this time around. A little bit wobbly for Skandir, but okay. Skandir, I don't think, has the speed to catch Heave to the line. It's going to be close, and Skandir snipes. Liker snipes as well, and the gap is down to 4 as we leave freezing behind.
It is very much about them balancing act right there, and Heave unfortunately fell off the beam just a tiny bit too soon. Just a tiny bit too soon, unable to hit the finish on top of the balance beam right there. And when you do miss it, yeah, that's going to be like a second loss of your final time, and plenty of time for Liker to get in between there. Very interesting seeing as well all the players, except for Makura, going for the triangle checkpoint strat.
Oh no!
As we have a reset from Heave. I think this is
Oh my God.
this is the time for Liker to get into second place and really put Eve, into a dangerous spot going into the next map. But he needs to hold on to the second place for that to happen.
Yeah, would be a 1 point difference heading into the final two maps if Liker comes second and Heaves comes third. Now, if Liker can somehow snipe Scandir, all of a sudden Liker will be in sole possession of second place. It's a tall task, though. Scandir has opened up the gap to about 6/10 as we go around the end here, and you can't trust that Scandir is going to make a mistake. It'd be very unlike Scandir to crash from the lead in this position. And there you go. Scandir will cruise through into first place. Liker comfortably in second, and Mokura taking third means that Heave will settle for fourth place on this one, and it will be that 1 point gap between Heave and Liker. Top two move on, and the battle is fierce.
The battle is ongoing hard, and just 2 maps remaining to determine which of these, 2 players will be moving on in second place to the semifinals. As Castle of Histo will be our next map. A nice compact map with a lot of, slow sections, if you will, but at the same time, very vertical. And because of the low amount of speed, having to challenge that verticality is going to be the big stumbling block, especially to start as well. If you don't get it down just right, getting this inside line past the foliage, it is quite easy to already lose about half a second on your competitors. Also interesting to see right there that Mokura went for the full inside line. We've seen that yesterday, where we saw one player actually go in between the trees instead of around the trees, and we weren't quite sure who it was, but it does look like Mokura is the one that was doing that. So very curious to see if they will keep doing that during rounds as well, because I didn't really see that as a faster way of doing it, but apparently he's seeing something I'm not.
Yeah, could well be. And in terms of the battle for second place, it's going to be interesting on this map. Liker set a new PB on this map only an hour ago, so definitely has been, practicing on these ones. And Heave's PB on this map is only good enough for 33rd fastest in the world. So definitely, in terms of Heave's pace, this, I think, seems to be his worst map. So all of a sudden, the potential that Liker leaves this map and we enter the final map with Liker having overtaken Heave, definitely a possibility. But with that said, Heave is still a very, very good player, and I don't think we can take that for granted at all.
No, performance in rounds always is a bit different than setting those PBs, but for now, we have 3 players quite close to each other. Mokura, who went for that inside line, is quite a ways behind, not just because of that, but also a bad landing into the bug slide afterwards. So for now, it is a bit of a conga line up the bridge where engines are off. Heave has a bit more speed, actually, and Liker barely making it over.
Very nearly did not make that.
Very close. For now, I mean, Eve will be very happy to stay in second place to make sure the deficit goes in his favor. Again, though, a single point difference it would be, but in favor of Eve. Just needs to make sure he sticks to landings here.
I think Heave is still 1 point in front at the moment, right?
Was he?
So this would be 3 points of gap. We'll figure it out now. Anyway, but no! Liker just a little bit too far behind. And Mokura snipes out as well. So it will be a swing of 3 points. I believe that's Heave back 4 points in front. It is, yeah. Heave will be 4 points in front of Liker. The gap's still very small. Still absolutely very capable of swinging between now and the end of the match. But Heave does have that slim advantage for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Scandir during that round, I know we're the focus, the fight is Heave and
we just ignored Scandir.
Just drove a 59.8, just good enough for third place.
2/10 within world record, yeah. Fair enough.
Which he said himself today as
which
well,
Scandir
an hour
exactly
ago.
did. No,
it's ridiculous.
It makes sense. Scandir's just too quick, man. It's scary.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, right now, Heave does have to lead, and Scandir does crash into the bridge right there. I mean, if there is one spot on the track that is the place where things can all go wrong, it is that bridge, right? Not a lot of space to maneuver around the rubble, and then to set up onto the bridge with enough speed with the engine off. Very tough. Liker, though, another short, slow drift. Not a lot of space, and Liker having to respawn, allowing Scandir to get closer. And Heave at the same time, though, fully ready to get 10 points, and does so indeed with a 1 minute point 4. Mokura in second, Scandir coming in third, and Liker coming in 4th place. Skandir and Leica both making big mistakes along the way, right? So not surprised that they ended up as low as they did, but he will be very happy with 10 points versus 3 points to Leica.
Yeah, I mean, what, 2 rounds ago, the points difference between Heave and Leica was a single point. It's now up to 11. Big turnaround from Heave as we've entered the castle of Histo, looking very, very good. And Leica is starting to run out of rounds now. We are very much in the tail end of this match. Only about, what, 8 rounds to go. And Heave has made a big mistake, has dropped a long way back. And this time around, Leica cannot afford a mistake, needs to be chipping away at that lead at this point, is really hoping for a Skandir mistake and 10 points of his own.
Yeah, I mean, Skandir this time around does not hit the ropings of the bridge, so will be staying in 1st place. Quite a big lead as well, 1.5 seconds, despite the fact that the players are so close to each other, right, in terms of seeing each other. Because of these low speeds, the time differences are massive, so it may appear like, oh, they can overtake quite easily. No, they're just not that fast. It's not gonna happen. And right there, right, just a jump in between, that's 1.5 seconds, and I don't think Skandir's gonna let go of this 1st place, so Leica is gonna have to try a couple more rounds, and Bokura barely keeping Heave away from a 4th place who had a great attack setup, but is gonna have to settle for 3 points. Still in the lead, but once again, Leica's getting, trying to stick their foot in the door right now. Like, whoa, we're not done quite yet. I still have something up my sleeve to make it happen. How did Makura get in between the foliage there?
Yeah, like a little bit interesting there, the line from Makura. It's worked out, but not really. Makura, that start, as you said, seeing something that we're not, but it doesn't really seem to be working out. And this may be a problem for Leica, now sitting in 3rd place as Heave, once again, is sitting in 1st. And I do think that's the difference at the moment. Has Leica picked up a single 1st place? I don't think Leica has gotten 10 points in any round so far, whereas Heave has managed to snipe a couple of those away, and that really has been the difference.
Exactly. It's right now, though, Heave doesn't even need Skandir to make a mistake. He is firmly in 1st place as Skandir, that's pretty much what Leica's hoping for. Allow Skandir to overtake Heave so he doesn't get too far away, but Heave's doing a great job at the moment. Just needs to make sure he doesn't clip too soon, makes the jump happen. 59.9 from Heave as well. Great time. I mean, that's a PB for him right there. Being the 5th player in the leaderboards with that to get a sub 1 minute on this track.
As we say, entered this map 33rd, I think, in terms of online times. Now sits in 4th with the 59.955 just there. Very quick from Heave. Very impressive performance here on Castle of Histo. And Leica, unfortunately, now sitting 14 points behind his rival for 2nd place.
Yeah, he's gonna have to hope that Red Forest is gonna treat him a bit better. Though Heave did a phenomenal job yesterday on Red Forest, so I'm not sure if that is the thing you want to be hoping for, but at the same time, I mean, it's the only track you are be able to do something to counter Heave's momentum in 2nd place. Right now, also in 2nd place in the track, as Leica is losing a lot of distance on him. I think for now, Leica is just going to have to look forward to Red Forest and make it happen there, as even Makura now getting in the way of potential 3rd place could be quite devastating.
Yeah, Skandir looking to hold on 1st. There's a chance that Heave snipes at the line here. It's going to be close. Skandir just about holds on. Half a 10th, and Leica will be grateful for that one. Keeps the gap at least somewhat manageable. That's not another 6 points added on. It's just another 2. So big round there for Leica, in that Skandir still managed to hold off Heave. But there's a huge gap now. What's that? 16 points need to be made up on Red Forest, and Leica has just 5 rounds in which to do that. Needs a win, I think, at this point, Boney. It's necessary that Leica picks up a full 10 points at some point.
Yeah, nothing less will suffice in this situation. If it wasn't that this is rounds or cup, usually with cup modes, whoever is in 1st place, whenever they get the win because they're just doing a great job, Skandir would be that player in this situation. But he is not leaving. He's not out of here. This is round, so you're gonna have to be faster than him if you want to get those 10 points, and that's very much what's causing these issues for Leica, where Heave does have these moments where he does shoot past and does a phenomenal job. Leica hasn't really had that momentum shift, right? Being able to shoot past, shoot forward, and take advantage of a perhaps lesser situation for Skandir. But with 5 rounds remaining, all he can hope for is that somehow all the blocks go his way. This track can feel a bit slippery because of these mini transitions. So we'll see if he's feeling secure in his car control.
Yeah, and we pointed out on some of the previous maps that Liker, had been setting PBs within the last couple of hours, had been practicing. This is a map that Heave PB'd on 38 minutes ago, so this seems to be where Heave was putting practice time. Hasn't paid off. Heave with a full respawn means that Liker is in second place, and maybe we do see that gap start to close a little bit here.
It's that tree as well. I mean, you've got that hairpin turn, and it's very easy to take it a bit too soon. And unfortunately, Heave right there did take it too soon. As well as this line right here, making sure you skip the block to the left to just make the jump right away. Just making a lot more speed, a lot less troublesome. But Skandir, though, I mean, doing what he has been doing all match long, getting himself 10 points in Liker, is going to have to settle for second place, and with Heave on third, that's just 2 points gained. Not going to be enough. Not going to be enough.
Yep.
Still looking for that first place.
That's Mokura not really doing the job of rear gunner there for Liker, not managing to hold off Heave, and well, it's really only a 1 point difference, but every point matters potentially as Heave has another bad round. Again, Liker probably needs a win. Just gaining 2 or 3 points at a time is not going to get there at this point. This turn, this hairpin, so important. Trying to hold on to the gear. I think Liker's managed to do it, but so have Mokura and Skandir. In fact, Liker may have lost the gear there, falling a little ways back further from Mokura and Skandir. And landing upside down, didn't get the flip, full double respawn, and surely Heave is overtaken for third place.
Yeah, it's pretty much painful situation. I guess he was steering during that flip, which caused him to not make the full rotation happen, and what a bad place of it to happen as well, having to go for the full respawn, giving Heave plenty of time to overtake. And with Skandir and Mokura coming in first and second, Liker is going to have to settle for fourth place. Does need to make sure to get across the line, but will do so. But losing a point on Heave, the gap right now, 15 points. Nothing but first places now. I think if this round is in the first place, it's lights out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we've run out of time. It's a decent start, though, for Liker. Is in that first place at the moment. Mokura, the first player to make a mistake, clipping a wheel just a little bit, entering the bug slide. Liker keeping decent speed, but Heave and Skandir, the two to really nail it on this occasion. And Liker is going to struggle for speed. That's a full crash. And Boney, I think you're right. I think that's it. That is going to confirm probably Skandir and Heave as our top two moving on to the semi-final.
Yeah, I think looking at, the match overall, these two players, most likely would have been the two to move on, but Liker just, looked great yesterday.
Great performance.
Looked in his element, so very much was hoping for him to, really, perhaps be causing one of these first upset, but Heave did a great job defending, did a great job driving, getting 6 points right there. Mokura at the same time, while, I can imagine this maybe wasn't a match he was looking for at the same time, though, which match were you looking for?
Yeah,
Still
no,
doing
exactly.
A great job.
Like we say, the entire quarterfinal absolutely stacked. I do want to point out that with a 51.805 there, Skandir has once again driven a time that would be good enough for world record if Skandir did not already hold world record. Look, Skandir, I think, has to be the favorite overall today. He's just so consistent and so quick, and in this quarterfinal already showing that pace.
Yeah, I mean, compared to yesterday, he just looks like a different man altogether, where, just here and there mistakes, didn't go his way, just
did the job yesterday.
Lowish placements for his liking. Right now, it's just game time. This is where it matters. This is where he needs to shine, and, I suppose with this, he very much set the bar quite high for anybody coming out of match number 3 to know that, yes, you're going to have to deal with me, and yes, I am feeling great. Another 51 time coming in from Skandir as well. He's on fire. He is looking primed and ready to go. Heave coming in 3rd place for this one. But yeah, I think with that, just one final round. A last hurrah for Liker and Makura in the tournament. But as mentioned, this is going to be it.
Yep, literally impossible at this point for the top 2 to drop out of that top 2, so we do have confirmation that Scandir and Heave are the players moving on in this one. And we will get results from the other matches at relatively soon as well. Obviously, all of them are rounds, all of them are being played on the same format, so we'd expect pretty similar finishing times across all 5 matches. And we will be moving on to our semi-finals, which will be played in Cup mode instead of rounds mode. And then our grand final later on, we're doing reverse Cup mode. So 3 formats for 3 rounds. And the players, I mean, look, it's the same maps. We're still going to see the same players drive fast. And the goal ultimately remains the same. Be as quick as possible around each corner. Hey, Liker might get a 1st place.
Hey, I mean, a little bit too late, unfortunately, but what better late than ever if any time is the right time. A 53.1 will do just fine as Heave, Scandir, and Makura close things out for themselves as well. GG's all around, firm handshakes, and Heave and Scandir will be moving on to the semifinals with that. What a fun one, what a great one. I mean, Scandir, 213 points, completely dominating
dropped
the entire field there.
37 points across 25 rounds. Like, it's a possible 250 points up for grabs there, and Scandir breaks 200. That's genuinely pretty crazy in terms of a final scoreline on that one. Incredibly impressive, and as we say, it will be then Scandir and Heave from this match to move on, where they will face the top 2 from quarterfinal number 3, which is Raceland, Goliath, Sertalion, and Ice. Another match where I won't be necessarily surprised at whatever 2 I hear coming out on that one, as we will wait and see who it is, but I think Raceland, Goliath, and Ice in particular all have a very good shot of putting themselves into one of those top 2 places.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Raceland has been able to set up some great times yesterday as well. I mean, both Raceland and Goliath were able to take one of the maps that were being played. Sertalion and Ice at the same time as well, just being able to finish top 12, top 8, pretty much all day long yesterday. It's very much a toss-up. I mean, I'm expecting the results to come in a little bit. I'm very curious to see. Raceland and Goliath would be the 2 in my mind to do it, but I could easily see Ice in there as well as Sertalion, actually. I mean, in that sense, definitely one of my dark horses to take it. But I don't know, it's gonna happen. I'm just looking at the spreadsheet. I'm like, what's gonna be?
Just I'm sitting here also just watching the spreadsheet. I've jumped over to Yannex's stream. Yannex's also sitting there currently watching the spreadsheet, so I know that match is finished. I'd imagine all them are, and we are just waiting for results to actually make their way to us at this point and figure out what's going to be in the top half of the bracket. I think we're expecting to see from match 2 probably Yannex in that top 2, maybe alongside Marius, but Sidzer and Drops or Drips, I know we had confusion on stream yesterday. Dr. X. Dr. X. We'll see who did make it through that match. Again, I think Yannex and Marius, the 2 most likely to do it, just in terms of both raw experience. Both of them are very, very experienced competition players, and definitely have their fair share of Mini RPG of the Week wins. And then the first match, RT, Swallogen, Squatter, and Alugi. Again, could be anyone, probably Artis, and then someone else. I don't know. It has to be someone else. I just don't know who it is.
I mean, it's got to be 2 of them at least. Either way. I see typing happening. All right.
We do have confirmation. Marius and Yannex in that match. So Marius with a 1st place, Yannex with a 2nd place is going to be moving on from that match to face the players in match 1.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Interesting. So we know some of the players. We just don't know what any of the actual matchups are going to be just yet.
Oh, just 1 through 4 for match number 1. RT, Swallogen 1st, 2nd, Squatter, and
there you go,
coming in 3rd and 4th. So we have match 1 with that all settled up. Match number 2, who's it gonna be? Oh, drum roll.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll hold and see. Match 1, the only one that we know that will be the only one that actually finished in seed order. Goliath with a 4th, and it's Ice with a 1st. So Ice and Raceland against Scandir and Heave. I mean, what an insane semi-final we have set up. I think we're just going to throw to a very quick break, just because it's going to take a couple of minutes for servers to be set up and things. Everyone go and grab a glass of water or something, and we'll see you back here for the semi-finals in a minute.